Let us move ahead and talk about the very important point that we have yet to discuss, that is settlement in entities' own equity instruments. Alright friends, so we are talking about settlement in entities' own equity instruments. So these are the contracts that can be settled in entities' own equity instruments. Let me first explain the meaning of this term by giving you certain examples. Suppose I have purchased assets or some kind of property from another company. I am a company, NJ Limited. I have purchased some kind of asset or equipment or property from another company, and of course I have to now settle something as a consideration. I have somehow made that other counterparty agree with a settlement that I will pay you, but in the form of equity shares of my own company, and that other party agrees. So now look into this contract between me and that other company. I am NJ Limited, the counterparty is A Limited, and I have purchased a property from A Limited, and I am going to settle the consideration by issuing my own equity shares. Boss, after the shares have been issued, the counterparty becomes my equity shareholder, definitely, no doubts about it. But if that issue of equity shares have been deferred, and in between a balance sheet date comes, what will happen? That at that balance sheet date, I have to settle an obligation, correct? I have yet to make the payment. So that obligation which is yet to be settled, should it be considered as my liability or as my equity instrument? That is the question mark. And that is why this discussion is very important, because friends, most of the students over here are found to be confused and they end up making errors in answering the questions. So if you want to be 100% clear with this matter, just listen to me and just pay attention on the examples what I am bringing forward one by one. So let us take this example where one of the company is NJ Limited and another company is A Limited. The transaction is this way: NJ Limited acquires a property from A Limited, and the consideration for that property is to be settled by issuing equity shares in NJ Limited after 6 months from now. At present, the market price of shares in NJ Limited is rupees 500, and at current market price of rupees 500, the amount of rupees 50 lakhs can be settled by issuing 10,000 equity shares in NJ Limited. Let us try to understand the entire scenario which is explained over here. NJ Limited has purchased a property from A Limited, and the amount of the consideration agreed is rupees 50 lakhs, and NJ Limited decides to settle that consideration by giving away its own equity shares. So the question arises, first question, how many shares should be issued for settlement of this consideration? That depends upon what is the price of NJ Limited's equity share prevailing in the market. Consideration amount to be settled is rupees 50 lakhs, and the price of the NJ Limited's equity share is rupees 500 per share. So at that price of 500 per share, how many shares would you issue for settlement of rupees 50 lakhs? The answer is simple. It will be 50 lakhs divided by 500, and that would give you 10,000 equity shares. But the point is, if this share issue was happening today, no problem. This share issue is not happening today. This will happen after 6 months. Now, after 6 months, this company A Limited will be an equity shareholder of NJ Limited without doubts. That means after 6 months, once the shares have been issued in the balance sheet of NJ Limited, whatever shares have been issued to A Limited will be reported under the head equity only. So the question is not what would happen after issue of shares. The question is until the contract is settled. That means until this share issue take place, this 6 months of waiting time, should this contract be recorded as a financial liability of NJ Limited or as an equity instrument? That depends upon how this contract is letting the counterparty behave. Letting the counterparty behave means if A Limited behaves like an equity shareholder, then it will be an equity instrument. If A Limited behaves like an outside party who is just interested to claim its rupees 50 lakhs, then it is to be recognized and reported as a financial liability. Now friends, there is a very thin line of difference which you need to understand. First of all, this is an example of a contract that can be settled in own equity instrument. That means we are talking from the viewpoint of the company NJ Limited in this example, that this is a contract which can be settled in entity's own equity instrument. Friends, many students mess with this concept for one reason. They jump into what is the standards requirement, they read the end conclusion. Unless you are clear with what is the point of problem over here, what kind of problem we are trying to solve, you will not understand just by reading the answer. You need to know the problem. So the problem is, NJ Limited is going to issue these shares, whatever be the number of shares, we'll talk about it, but the settlement of this transaction by issuing equity shares will happen after 6 months from now. Between now and the settlement date, if a reporting date arises, what will happen at that reporting date? How would NJ Limited report this outstanding? Will it show as a financial liability, that is an obligation yet to be settled as a financial liability, or because it is eventually going to be settled by way of equity, right now only disclose it as equity? Where and in what manner it should be reported, that is the question. I believe all of you are clear with the question at least, correct? Now, in order to answer that question, let us look into what is the negotiation finally taking place. So, if you can see, the settlement of rupees 50 lakhs is supposed to happen, and the price of NJ Limited's equity share in the market today is rupees 500. When we divided 50 lakhs by 500, we get 10,000 equity shares. So, NJ Limited is maybe offering A Limited total number of shares as 10,000 shares, but these will not be issued today, these will be issued after 6 months. So, what happens? Will A Limited accept 10,000 shares or not is the question. We find one thing, however, A Limited doesn't agree for fixed number of shares. A Limited demands that the number of shares to be issued shall depend upon prevailing market price on the date of issue for settlement of rupees 50 lakhs. Now, first thing that we need to again understand is answering a question. Why did this company A Limited did not agree for those fixed number of shares, 10,000 shares? Let us think from their viewpoint. So now I am thinking from the viewpoint of A Limited. They would say, boss, we have sold our property worth rupees 50 lakhs. Now we want to recover rupees 50 lakhs. 6 months is the time given to the counterparty for settlement of payment. The counterparty is offering its equity shares. So we are accepting even that. Again, I am telling you, I am talking from the viewpoint of A Limited. So A Limited says, boss, first of all, we have agreed to accept equity shares. Now, today the share price in the market is 500. So 10,000 shares multiplied by 500 is enough amount, rupees 50 lakhs, correct? It is enough to settle our outstandings. However, after 6 months when we are going to receive these shares, what if the price of these shares decline? What if the price of the shares drop to rupees 400? That time 10,000 shares multiplied by 400 would simply give us rupees 40 lakhs. We will be at loss. We don't want to incur that loss. So, we are ready to accept number of shares from NJ Limited, but not a fixed number of shares. We will receive a variable number of shares that will depend upon the price of the share that will prevail at the settlement date. That means after 6 months from now, if actually the share price drops, NJ Limited will have to issue more shares to settle a consideration of 50 lakhs. Now, in this scenario, what you are observing over here, how is A Limited behaving? Try to understand this. Is A Limited behaving like NJ Limited's equity shareholder? No. Why? Because if the price of NJ Limited's shares fluctuate in the market, it will not affect A Limited in this scenario because it is sticking to its recovery of rupees 50 lakhs. For example, if the share price rises, A Limited will not be at an advantage because then for settlement of 50 lakhs, it will receive less number of shares. If the price of the share drop, A Limited will not be at a loss because NJ Limited will eventually issue more number of shares. That means when the counterparty, that is A Limited, is demanding variable number of shares for settlement of rupees 50 lakhs, understand what is happening. The counterparty A Limited is behaving like an outside party. It is not willing to participate in the gain or loss of NJ Limited. Means if the share price of NJ Limited's share fluctuate in the market, A Limited, it is not getting affected. If someone is not getting affected because of your share price movement, those other people cannot be your equity shareholders. You cannot call it equity instrument. That is a financial liability. If I just change the scenario, if I replace this information with one thing, that finally A Limited agrees to take 10,000 fixed number of shares. Okay, mark my words. If A Limited would have agreed for fixed number of shares as 10,000 shares, and finally at the settlement date, if NJ Limited's share price would have dropped to rupees 400 per share, what would have happened? Do you know? NJ Limited would have simply issued 10,000 shares, each share worth rupees 400. The consideration would have been fully settled for 40 lakhs. Who would have suffered that loss? Tell me. A Limited, right? But A Limited agreed that okay, I am fine with receiving 10,000 shares. It agreed 6 months back. Now, that is in this past 6 months, if NJ Limited's share price has dropped, the counterparty A Limited is facing that loss. Every equity shareholder of NJ Limited would have suffered that loss of drop of price from 500 to 400, and so the same has been suffered as a loss by A Limited, provided it would have agreed for fixed number of shares. Eventually, if it agrees for fixed number of shares and the price of NJ Limited's share would have risen in the market, what would then happen? Can you understand? If NJ Limited issues 10,000 shares at the settlement date, and just imagine if the price of NJ Limited's share would have gone up to rupees 800, do you know what will be the consideration amount by value? 10,000 equity shares multiplied by the market price of the share at the issue date, that is rupees 800, it would have been 80 lakhs. A Limited would have been just taking advantage of that opportunity, correct? Provided it is agreeing for that fixed number of shares. So every time I am trying to draw your concentration to one pinpoint situation, that is the number of shares to be settled. If they are fixed number of shares, it will be reported as an equity instrument, because the counterparty starts behaving like your equity shareholder even before the settlement took place. In your gains, they are benefited. In your losses, they are suffering losses also. However, if the number of shares to be issued varies upon the market price of the share at the settlement date, then the counterparty will simply be waiting for the settlement date to arrive. It will claim its 50 lakhs and the number of shares will depend upon the market price. So if the share price falls, A Limited is not getting affected. If the share price rises, A Limited is not getting affected. When because of the share price fluctuation, the counterparty is not getting affected, the counterparty is your financial liability. If because of the share price fluctuation, the counterparty is getting affected, the counterparty is your equity. So friends, whatever we have discussed over here, you did not find time to write this example, don't worry about it. I will formulate the same example in the form of a question and answer so that you systematically write it down. and I believe you are clear with this explanation of settlement in entity's own equity instrument, where in this example, until the settlement takes place, the amount due towards A Limited will be reported as a financial liability, because in this example what we have noticed, A Limited did not agree for fixed number of 10,000 shares. It has demanded variable number of shares, sticking to its recovery of 50 lakhs, behaving like an outsider. Let us deal with question number 2 to understand that example that we have just discussed. On 1/1/2020, NJ Limited acquires a property from A Limited worth rupees 50 lakhs. The amount of consideration, that is rupees 50 lakhs, shall be settled by issue of equity shares of NJ Limited on 30th June 2020. The number of shares to be issued shall depend upon the prevailing market price on the date of issue for settlement of rupees 50 lakhs. Identify whether on 31/3/2020 this contract is an equity instrument or a financial liability for NJ Limited. Now friends, because it is just the same example that we have discussed a few minutes back, so I don't have to explain you again. Let me directly show you how to write up the answer. In your answer you would write, this is the case of a contract that can be settled in entity's own equity instrument. As per the terms of the contract, the number of shares to be issued by NJ Limited is variable and depends upon the market price of the shares as on the date of issue. On the date of settlement, sufficient number of shares will be issued by NJ Limited to settle a fixed amount of obligation of rupees 50 lakhs. Let us draw the conclusion now. We would write, as per the definition of financial liability, a contract that can be settled by issue of variable number of shares to settle a fixed amount shall be treated as a financial liability as per Ind AS 32. So the conclusion will be, as on 31/3/2020, NJ Limited should classify and record this contract under financial liability. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Now let us move ahead and modify that example that we have discussed some time back. This time in this example, NJ Limited and B Limited are the two companies involved, and NJ Limited acquires a property from B Limited, and the consideration of rupees 50 lakhs to be settled by issuing equity shares in NJ Limited after 6 months from now. At present, the market price of shares in NJ Limited is rupees 500. At the current market price of rupees 500, the amount of rupees 50 lakhs can be settled by issuing 10,000 equity shares in NJ Limited. B Limited agrees for fixed number of shares, that is 10,000 shares. So what do we find in this modified example? What we find is something very straight and clear. This time the counterparty B Limited has agreed for fixed number of shares. I have explained you one thing. Just imagine if the number of shares to be issued for settlement of rupees 50 lakhs is fixed, 10,000 shares. If the price of the share rises in the market or it drops in the market, either way NJ Limited is still going to issue 10,000 shares. So the point is, if the market price of NJ Limited's share will rise during this waiting span of 6 months, right? Because when the understanding to settle this consideration by issue of equity shares has been agreed, from that date and the settlement actually happening, it has a time gap of 6 months, and of course during this 6 months of time gap there will be fluctuations in NJ Limited's equity share in the market. As a result, if the share price drops, it is B Limited which will be incurring a loss, because now it is still receiving 10,000 shares at a lower value finally. If the share price rises, B Limited will be at a benefit. So what is happening when the number of shares to be issued in a situation like this are fixed number of shares to settle a fixed amount? Understand this point very well. It is fixed number of shares to settle a fixed amount. When the number of shares and amount both are fixed, it will never be your financial liability. It will be an equity instrument, because eventually look into what is happening. Your share price fluctuations are directly affecting the counterparty. So counterparty is behaving like your equity shareholder even before the settlement takes place, and that is why until the settlement takes place, this has to be reported as an equity instrument of NJ Limited. So friends, I think I was able to convey to you and you have clearly understood this whole scenario of settlement in entity's own equity instrument. I will have some more explanation with respect to this, but let us do one thing. Whatever example we have discussed over here, let us understand that through a question and answer for much better clarity on this, and then we will talk about this ahead. Let us take that example by way of question number 3 and let us read this question. On 1/1/2020, NJ Limited acquires a property from B Limited worth rupees 50 lakhs. The amount payable as consideration, that is rupees 50 lakhs, shall be settled by issue of 10,000 equity shares of NJ Limited on 30th June 2020, irrespective of the prevailing market price as on that date. Identify whether on 31/3/2020 this contract is an equity instrument or a financial liability for NJ Limited. Now friends, because this is just reflection of the same example that we have discussed, I don't have to explain anything over here. You know the concept, you know the answer. Let me just show you how to write up the answer for this question. This is the case of a contract that can be settled in entity's own equity instrument. As per the terms of the contract, fixed number of shares, that is 10,000 shares, shall be issued for settlement of a fixed amount of rupees 50 lakhs. The number of shares to be issued will be 10,000 shares irrespective of the prevailing market price on such date. The conditions given in the definition of financial liability are not fulfilled for identifying this contract as a financial liability. As per Ind AS 32, this contract until settled shall be classified as equity instrument.